On Tuesday, September 13th, 2016, at approximately 11 p.m., police responded to a residence in the 1600 block of 42nd Street Southwest for reports of an unconscious male. Upon arrival, a man was located in life-threatening condition and transported to hospital by EMS. On Wednesday, September 21st, 2016, the victim succumbed to his injuries, leading the CPS Homicide Unit to take over the investigation. The victim is identified as Trevor Jordan LOMOND, 33, of Calgary. Investigators believe members of the public may have more information about the events that unfolded on these dates in September. Anyone with information about this incident is asked to contact police by calling 403-266-1234 or the Homicide Unit Tip Line at 403-428-8877. Tips can also be left anonymously by contacting Crime Stoppers through any of the following methods. 1-800-222-8477 or the website at www.crimestoppers.org. At this time, I'd like to invite Trevor's mom, Sherry, and Trevor's brother, Cody, up to share a statement they have and would like to read. Come on up.
Today marks the 4-month period of when my son Trevor Lomond was rushed to the Foothills Hospital, emergency and critical condition. 1 week later, Trevor would succumb to those injuries. He was seriously assaulted and was unconscious. I know he was assaulted because of some of the things I have been told by some people reaching out to me with regards to information. I have a hard time comprehending why, or most importantly, how someone could hurt another person with no regards to the outcome of or human life. Anyone who knew Trevor would know that he had a beautiful, soft heart, a heart of gold, as I always told him. He made friends easily and could strike up a conversation with anyone. He was always there to help. He was funny, smart, and full of love. Trevor was a very honest person who would always help out his friends if he could. He was also a father to 2 beautiful children, Rachel and Jordan. I know all this because I raised him. I am his mother and his friend. Trevor and I spoke every day on the phone. Most days we would speak 3 or 4 times a day. He never went to bed without calling me or texting me to say goodnight. Only someone who has lost a child can understand the grief that's magnified when a life is lost at the hands of a vicious attack. You are left in shock and disbelief. My family's world has changed forever, never to be the same again. Pieces of my family and Trevor's children's will never be put back in place. I know there are people out there who know something. I'm asking you to please come forward to the police with any information that you may have so that my son Trevor and his children can find closure. We can find closure for his death. I do want to say thank you to the person who called 911 that night, and thank you to the first responders on the scene. It allowed us to have a week with our son so that we could say goodbye. So from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you.
Maybe ask you questions?
Yeah, if you have questions for me, I'd be happy to, or for Sherry, feel free.
Sherry, can you just tell us what these last 4 months have been? I can only imagine how tough this has been for you.
It's the hardest 4 months I've ever been through in my entire life. I mean, you lose a child. It doesn't matter whether the child is 3 or 33. It's a child. And no family, no parent should have to bury a child.
You mentioned that somebody had given information about this being an assault. Is there anything you can tell us more about that?
No, I'm sorry. I can't. The police can answer that more than what I can.
Can we talk about what state he was in when he was in the hospital?
Yeah. Trevor was on life support. He was beaten to the point where he had severe brain trauma. He would have been clinically brain dead, a vegetative state for the rest of his life. So as a family, we had to make the decision if Trevor would want to live in that condition for the rest of his life. And we chose, as a family, to take him off of life support. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
How are his kids doing?
As good as you can expect them.
And how old are they now?
Jordan is 11 and Rachel is 8.
When was the last time you had talked to Trevor before?
That day.
That day.
Yes, 3 times that day.
And what was the last thing you guys talked about?
We talked about where he was going, actually. He had told me he was going to a home in the Southwest. I had about a 22-minute conversation with him that day. He told me he would call me later that day. He didn't call. I texted him at 10:25. He didn't respond, obviously. And I called him. There was no answer. And I didn't sleep well that night because we usually always said goodnight to each other, and it just didn't feel right to me.
Did he seem okay?
Yes, he was Trevor. He was happy. We were laughing, we were joking, we were talking like mom and son do.
So you still, after these 4 months, you really don't have any clue, any idea why this might have happened?
No, but I can say that if Trevor felt his life was in danger, I think he would have shared that with me.
How close are you to understanding what did happen? That who might have been sort of orbiting around your son at that time, or what kind of relations he's having?
I'll fully understand it at the end when the people who've done this are brought to justice. Up until that point, I don't think I'll fully understand anything.
And you hope people will come forward.
Yes.
And
Yes.
how confident are you in the police's ability?
100%.
Are you hoping that somebody may come forward and it will provide you some sense of closure in this ordeal?
Absolutely.
And is there anything else you want to tell us about your son? He was in school.
He was, yes. Trevor kind of got off track for a little while. Didn't really have any run-ins with the law that was worth, of any big substance. He went back to school to get his accounting. He was starting to get his life back on track. So he went from drywall back to school for the accounting. And it was nice to see him start to progress that way, but he never got to finish it.
We'll take questions for them.
Thank you.
So I guess the question is too, why has it taken 4 months then for you guys to officially speak on this?
Well, there's always multiple ways an investigation can go from the start, and sometimes there's some investigative strategies or some things we need to do investigatively that we need to do without public knowledge, basically. And in investigations or incidents where there isn't a risk to public safety and we can do that, and it helps us further the investigation the most in the shortest amount of time, then we do that, and this is one of those cases.
Can you talk about Trevor's whereabouts, what he was doing that day, anything leading up to before that 911 call came in, or who made that 911 call?
Not in particular. I believe the 911 call was made by one of the occupants of the residence. What led up to that, how Trevor got there, what went on there is still very much in question, so that's part of our plea to the public today is there's for sure people that know what happened to Trevor who was at that house and what went on. And we're looking for anybody that does know that to come forward and provide that information. We have spoken to some people, but there's definitely other people there that know what went on, and that's our ask today is anybody that might have more information comes forward and provides that to us so we can fill in some of the gaps.
So this is where he was living? Was this his residence?
No, it was not.
Can you tell me about this building then and how many people live there?
I don't know that for sure. I believe there's several people that live there. We have spoke to some. The call did come from there, but what went on prior to that is still somewhat up in the air.
As roommates or as a boarding house? Like what kind of property is this?
Like I said, I don't know specifically what the makeup is and who all lives there.
So do you know who called this in?
By name, no. I know it was one of the occupants of that residence. I just don't know who in particular.
But he's been cooperative?
There's been varying degrees of cooperation from the individuals that live at that residence. Some have cooperated, some haven't, and I don't know that we have a good picture yet on who all might have been there.
Is that home known to police at all?
I actually I don't know that.
Okay. This might sound like a stupid question, but is it officially a homicide now, or is it being investigated? You might find later that it was some other assault that had a dire ending. I mean, or does it now become, we don't have to say likely murder?
Yeah, Trevor was murdered. Yeah.
So why did it take till now to officially call this a homicide?
Well, we believe it to be a homicide right from the start, but sometimes there's a balance between some of the things we might do investigatively and some information and some things that like it's nice to put things out to the public so everybody knows about it, but sometimes that comes at a bit of an expense to the investigation, and you have to make that decision initially if it's worth it. And in this case, we chose to further the investigation from the start without putting a bunch of information out to the public that may potentially jeopardize it.
So it was deemed a homicide as of September 21st, then it's just now going public with it.
Right.
Were you guys able to recover any sort of weapons, anything like that?
That's all things we're looking to put forward. So the details of that I'm not going to discuss. What we really need is, or really would like, is there's other people there that know what happened there. And there is people that have been cooperative and continue to cooperate in varying degrees. So there's other people there that know. So that's what we're asking for, is anybody else that knows what might have happened to Trevor or what led up to those events that day to get in contact with police.
Is there a danger that 4 months later, people who may not have been in that residence but may have seen things around the neighborhood, people forget things? Is there danger in waiting 4 months?
I don't think so. I think people that witness these types of things, that sticks with you.
Is there danger, I guess, to the community having these people out on the streets without the public knowing?
In this case, I don't believe that to be the case.
Are you looking, do you think it's going to be one suspect or multiple?
That's what we need, the public's assistance in helping us fill in those gaps.
And approximately how many people were in the house?
I don't know that.
Is it right to call it a house?
I believe it's a house.
So you don't have any theory of any inkling of any motive in this?
No, that's what we're trying to figure out. Clearly, Trevor was assaulted, and that assault and those injuries led to his death. And there's a number of people that know what happened, and we're going to sort it out. And we need the public's assistance to do that.
In talking to people that know Trevor or knew Trevor, was there a reason for him to be at that house?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Are there any specific suspects or vehicle descriptions that neighbors or members of the public should be looking out for?
I don't believe so.
So wasn't a targeted attack? Or was it random at nature? Or are you guys still investigating?
Yeah, well, that's part of what we need the public's assistance is to figure that out. As far as it being random, I'm not so sure it was random, but we still need some gaps filled in as to what happened and the reasons why.
And was there an indication where the assault happened? Was it inside the house or outside the house?
We believe that to be the case, but again, with more detailed information from anybody or any witnesses, we'd be able to paint a better picture.
So we believe what to be the case, inside or outside?
Believe inside that residence.
Without getting into specifics, can you describe the scene? Was it chaotic, stuff strewn around, blood all over the place?
I don't know that.
Was it the family who approached police to speak today, or other way around? And what benefit does it have for the family to come out and ask for the public's help?
Well, investigators have been in contact with the families since September. I think sometimes it helps the family wants to be able to assist however they can, and in these cases, the plea for information obviously assists us as well. So that's what led to today.
Is there any surveillance video in that area that you can monitor or have looked at?
I would imagine there is, and we have. Anything else? Good. Thanks.